What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Piranha. So I have seen this movie before. I actually own this movie, and I'm telling you what, I'm a big fan of this movie. It's a great creature feature. It's a great summer movie. It's not the summer yet. I was going to actually review this during the summertime, but the first Piranha and most of the sequels are available right now on Tubi. So, my plan is to, of course, watch the first one and check out as many of the sequels, hopefully all of them, before they leave streaming. I actually picked up the second one on DVD, so I'm all set up to do this entire franchise. So yeah, had to check these out before they leave. But yeah, this is a fantastic creature feature, a fantastic summer horror movie, and like I said, I've seen it before. Upon rewatch, I still think this is a super solid movie. It's an enjoyable time for me, and I really like it. So yeah, that's my basic thoughts about the movie. Now I'm going to jump into a little plot summary. So basically, at the beginning of the movie, there's these two teenagers, and they stumble upon this. It's like a government testing facility, and there's a little pool. So they go swimming. They're like pretty much skinny dipping. The one girl strips down. They go swimming, and they're killed. They're eaten alive by these genetically modified piranha. So there's this woman, Maggie. She is sent to investigate these two kids who went missing, and she meets up with this gentleman, Paul, who he's just he lives in this cabin in the woods. He's just drinking on the reg. He doesn't even have a flask. Okay, this fool has a full-on canteen, and he's dabbling with all the liquors. He's got a little bourbon going on, a little tequila, a little gin. He doesn't discriminate. He likes all the liquors. If it'll f you up, if it'll get you a little buzz, he's drinking it. So anyways, Maggie links up with Paul because he's a local, and he knows his way around town. So she links up with him to help find the whereabouts of these kids. And once they get to the little government testing facility, they start finding weird stuff. They find all these genetically modified piranha, and there's this random creature that it's like there's like this stop motion creature. It's not a piranha. It's kind of like it's like a piranha hybrid, but it doesn't exist in the water. It just walks around on two legs. And I was reading some stuff on Wikipedia, and I guess they added that because one of the people involved in the making of this movie really wanted to add some stop motion, but the budget was so low that they're like, we can't really do that. So he just threw this in, and yeah, you only see that creature in that one little sequence, and then you never see it again. But it kind of makes sense because it's this testing facility of this scientist. So maybe he made all kinds of weird creatures in addition to the piranha. So who the heck knows? But anyways, they get to this testing facility. They find this scientist, and they're trying to get the scoop on what's the deal with these piranha. He says that he was hired for this experiment during the Vietnam War where they were supposed to make these hybrid piranha that could survive in the Vietnamese rivers, and they're like genetically modified. They're extremely dangerous. They're like resistant to, you know, harm, whatever, and they can exist in freshwater and saltwater, because usually piranha, they're a freshwater fish. So anyways, they basically attack and kidnap this guy, and they question him, and Paul's daughter is at this summer camp, so they're also trying to, go to the summer camp, warn everybody, because, the summer camp is on a river, and there's also this resort that's having this big party, so they're trying to find a way to kill these piranha, to warn everyone, and to, save Paul's daughter. So that is the basic plot summary. So now I'm going to get into all my random thoughts. The first thing that I want to talk about is I really liked Maggie's character. She was very likable, but I thought she was an absolute badass. She was awesome. Like when they initially infiltrated that testing facility, she knocked out the scientist, and then later on there's this sequence where they're like thrown in jail, and she comes up with this plan to break out of jail, and she gets this big like the top part of the toilet, she gets this big it's like this big piece of ceramic, and just like smacks the police officer on the head, knocks him out, steals his keys. Like, Maggie was absolutely badass in this movie. I loved her. I thought she was awesome. Another point that I want to get into. Okay, this movie, in my opinion, was pretty darn bloody and pretty darn gory. Whenever anyone is attacked, the water is, there's just blood all everywhere in the water, and there's like quite a few instances where you get to see the aftermath of people being attacked. There, you'll see people's faces are all ripped up. There'll be like shots in the water where people are getting chunks bitten out of them, and later on when the resort is attacked, you see the aftermath and you see all these bloody bodies. Like, this movie was very bloody and very gory, and this movie came out in 1978. Okay, a lot of like the majority of horror films that came out in the 70s have virtually no blood. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that came out in 1974. There's like no blood in that. Halloween came out the same year as this, 1978. There's no blood in that. You don't really start seeing bloody, gory horror movies until around 1980 with the first Friday the 13th. This movie, for coming out in 1978, is like it's not as bloody and gory as a movie today, but for a movie from 1978, this movie is gory and bloody as heck. And I was just, I appreciated it, because at that time it was harder to get away with all that stuff. And yeah, like this is like this is a pretty intense horror film, especially for the time. So gotta give it props for that. Another point is, I just like the fact that Paul was he was sipping drinks on the reg. I always like characters in movies and TV shows that are just, they always have a drink in their hand. Like, I really like Dan Chalice from Halloween 3. He's always like before they go on the little road trip, he has to like grab a 6-pack of beer, and he, later at night he's like, wait, whoa, hold up, it's getting late, I need a drink. Like, I don't know, I like characters that are sipping drinks on the reg. Paul kind of sips drinks a little bit excessively, Like, he clearly has a little bit of a problem, but I personally enjoy sipping some drinks. I like, you know, drinking a couple beers at night, especially when I'm watching movies. Like, before, I watch a movie, I enjoy having a couple beers. It's just, I don't know. Especially if you're watching some horror movies, like especially some, I don't know, maybe like cheesy ones. I don't know. There's something about watching horror movies and drinking some beers. They go together perfectly. So I enjoy sipping a few drinks. So I always enjoy characters that enjoy sipping some drinks. And my man Paul was going hard. He was going crazy. Like I said, he didn't even have a flask. He had a full on canteen. Like, this dude he never like was without a drink. And I don't even think he ever drank water. Like, he just survived on straight liquor. It's like Leahy from Trailer Park Boys. I am the liquor. Like, Paul was the liquor. He transcended the liquor, and he became the liquor. I mean, that's why he could think so well. In Trailer Park Boys, I forgot what season it was, but Leahy came to this realization where he was just like sharper when he was on the liquor. And I mean, that's why Paul was able to go hard and, do all this badass stuff, because he became the liquor. So shouts out to Paul for, sipping some drinks and being a gentleman that I would like to party with. Maybe not, because he would drink me under the table and I would probably get alcohol poisoning, but I don't know. I like his spirit. I don't know. He just seems like a cool individual I would like to hang with. So yeah, okay. This point kind of ties into the point that I talked about earlier, how this movie is so gory for its time. This movie did something that was super ballsy and is super taboo. Kids get attacked and killed in this movie, like little kids. And the first time I saw this movie, I was like, they're really going there. This is intense. Like, this is scary. That's the thing. Like, even though horror movies, they're supposed to be, horrific and explore a darker side of life, there's stuff that's still taboo, and there's still kind of unwritten rules. Like, you don't really kill kids. Like, all the big slashers, like, you never really see Michael Myers or Jason killing kids. They'll kill teenagers, but you never see like little kids get killed in movies. That's why, like, in the first Sleepaway Camp, when all those kids get killed, like, it just adds to the stakes. It's like, the killer's crazy. They're killing little kids. Like, that's sick. So I think that's incredibly ballsy that they did that, and that really like upped the ante. That really increased the stakes, in my opinion. I'm like, nobody is off limits in this movie. Anyone can be a victim. Like, it just increased my overall fear. Like, this movie, there are some actually like scary, intense scenes. I'm gonna get into. Actually, that's what I'm getting into next. So, perfect transition. There's some tense moments in this movie. Like, there's a lot of good, like, action-packed sequences, and there's so many tense moments that they like really keep you on your toes, and they really keep you glued to the screen. Like, this movie is by no means boring. There are so many just like high tension moments that they're like you're sitting there all like, tensed up. Like, are the characters gonna make it? Like, sometimes you think like the main characters might die. Some movies you think, like, for instance, like the Scream franchise, the main characters are alive in pretty much all the movies, and they always find some way to survive. So when you're watching those movies, there's like the stakes aren't as high, where you're like, well, Sydney and Dewey, they'll probably survive to the next one. So, you know, it's whatever. I'm not that scared. But in this movie, you're like, you know, anyone could die. The main characters could die. There's so many tense situations, like anything could happen. So I'm gonna give a couple standout, tense moments here. So I really like the sequence where they're on this makeshift raft, and the scientist guy gets killed, and his arm is dangling in the water, and the piranhas, they can, like smell his blood or sense his blood in the water, and they start swarming the raft, and they start eating it apart. And Paul and Maggie and this little kid, they're trying to get to shore, and their raft keeps dwindling down in size. It's like it's like these giant logs, and it's like a couple logs will come loose, and they're like barely supported over the water, and you're like, are they gonna make it to shore? Is everything gonna be okay? That was a super tense sequence. I absolutely loved that. That was intense. I like the sequence where there's that kid water skiing, and he sees this like dead body in the water, and he knows something's up. And these two girls on the boat, they're just toying with him, and they're trying to kind of whip him off the jet skis, because that's what you do if you're, not the jet skis, off the water skis. Pardon me, my apologies. That's what you do if you're like wakeboarding or water skiing. Sometimes if your buddy is on the back, sometimes you try to kind of whip them real hard and have them wipe out. So they were trying to have him wipe out, or they're gonna stop the boat, and he's just only supported by this. It was like one single water ski, and that sequence was crazy. And I was just like thinking in my head, like, how could he even escape this? Like, he has to stay above water. He has to stay on the water skis. Like, they're not really close to shore, and if he stops water skiing, he's gonna be in the water. He has to swim all the way to the boat. Like, how is he gonna survive? So he's pretty much trapped. He just has to water ski forever. So that sequence was fantastic. That really kept me on my toes. And then when later on in the movie, when Paul is he has to deploy these industrial chemicals. There's like this old building that has these valves, and he has to release the valves to release these industrial chemicals into the water to hopefully kill all the piranha. And that sequence was crazy as well, where he has to hold his breath. He's being swarmed by all the piranha. It's like a race for time. Like, he could drown. He could get trapped in this building. He could get eaten alive. He's so far down underwater, like nobody can help him. That sequence was super scary as well, and super intense. So there were so many intense moments. I don't know. I think this is a solid creature feature. This is it's a solid horror movie, and it's a great movie to watch in the summer. I know I kind of jumped the gun and watched it in spring, but like I said, most of the sequels were on Tubi right now, so if I'm trying to watch them for free, and so I can review them. So yeah, this is a solid movie. I really like this movie. So in terms of a recommendation, if you have not seen the original Piranha, I think this is an extremely solid horror movie, an extremely solid creature feature, and it's just a fun time. It's a entertaining time. So I would definitely recommend it. It's for free on Tubi right now. It's the first Piranha's been free on Tubi for a hot minute. So what are you waiting for? It's free. If you haven't seen it, watch it. So that's my little recommendation, and this has been my review of Piranha, and I've pretty much said everything that I wanted to say, so I'm gonna head out here. Thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.